Alright guys, this project starts off with a 2x12. This was a cutoff from a joist when we were building a house, so figure let's make something out of it. I'll use the table saw to cut out the rough, round shape, and then I'll come back with a chisel and clean up those edges. And like I said, this was construction lumber, so it just got thrown around, and I wanted to take some dings out of that surface before I started wood burning, because the wood burning is going to be pretty detailed. So to transfer that design onto my tabletop, I'll cover the back of the paper in graphite, flip it over, and then trace over the design. And in theory, that'll push graphite down onto the wood in the shape of my design. And it sometimes works. This time it didn't work all that great, but there was enough on there where I was able to fill in the lines and get the design that I needed. And this part's pretty simple. I'm just going to trace around that M and then fill in the middle. Now this was the trickiest part of the project, and that's drawing a rope around the M. The rope itself wasn't hard, but the square knot was. I kind of just had to figure it out with trial and error. I did it on paper first, and once I felt comfortable with it on paper, I brought it onto the wood. Still didn't get it perfect, but I'm happy with it. Now, to draw the rope or to make it look more realistic, we're going to draw some diagonal lines going across that rope and then connect those lines with S's. And that looks alright, but to make it look even better, we're going to add some details, and I'll talk about that later. And I think this part is called contouring. Not for sure, don't care that much either. Basically, the edges are going to be dark, and the middle of the rope is going to be light. Now the legs will be cut out of the same type of wood, 2x12, and I'm going to rip out three about 1 foot sections. And once they're all cut out, I'll cut an angle off the top. I really couldn't tell you what that angle is. I just eyeballed it and called it good. But it's important to also cut a parallel angle on the bottom so that your table sits flush. And to connect them is pretty simple, just driving a screw down from the leg into the bottom of the table. It's definitely not the strongest joint at all, but I could sit on this little stool and it held me. Hopefully the only thing that's going to sit on this is coffee mugs. If it isn't, it'll break probably. And you know what? If this table does break, I'll just make another one. This is what it looked like when it was all done. Nothing special, but hey, it worked. For now, at least. We'll finish it off with a couple coats of polyurethane and call it good. Yep, that'll work.